Today, we are going to be talking about the 2026 Run Disney Marathon Weekend Expo that all of you who are doing Dopey or any of the races this weekend are going to be attending. Can you believe there is just 5 days left until our very first start line of Dopey 2026? And how exciting is it getting? Looking at the Facebook forums, everyone is busy packing, dissecting the weather forecast, and debating on whether or not they should wear leggings despite the 73-degree average start time temperature. So it is very exciting. And this is the time that the nerves are starting to creep in. All right. So today we are going to talk about the expo. I am your host, Jill Bartholomew, head coach at Be Fierce Multisport, and I have completed Dopey 7 times. All right, so let's get into it. So the Expo is the collective of all of the pre-race events, including picking up our bib, opening up our wallets for the Run Disney merchandise that we probably don't need but desperately want, as well as picking up our t-shirts and going through the actual vendor expo, which is always super exciting. All right. So, what is the expo? Man, it is so exciting. I don't know about you. If you've ever done it before, maybe you feel the same way, maybe you feel differently. If you've never done it before, I tell you what, if you are there when the gates open or if you're not, it almost doesn't matter. Walking past the ESPN Center ball and up the alleyway to the main building where we get our bibs. That always sends chills down my spine. And I tell you what, if you are there when the gates open, the cast members are all waving you in as you're walking up the hill with the music playing, which pro tip, if you have downloaded the Run Disney playlist from, I believe it's on Spotify and Apple Music, it is the exact same playlist. So it will be super familiar, and yet still it just builds so much excitement. And then you get in there and you get your bib. So before you get there, definitely make sure that you have filled out the liability waiver online. And if you don't, there will be a place for you to get a paper one, or at least there has been in the past. But you don't want to waste your time filling out paperwork when you could have done it ahead of time. For those who may be wondering, we should be getting our bib numbers in the next day or two. My bet is it's going to come out on Sunday or Monday like it usually does. And no, your corral will not be on that, but everybody is going to make best effort guesses to figure out what corral they are in. And newsflash, some of the guesses will be right and some of them won't be. We don't know, and we won't know until we get there. That's part of the excitement, but you can kind of guess on where in the sequence you are for the bibs. Other things, the expo is super social. I have done this race many times. This will be my 75th. The marathon itself will be my 75th Run Disney finish line. That said, I know a lot of people. I've been to a lot of races, and you tend to see a lot of the same faces run after run, weekend after weekend, and you kind of get to know each other. So it's always nice, when you're walking through and someone spots you, they're like, "Hey, Jill," and or whatever. And, yeah, you just bump in and, catch up with people. And if this is your first time, get ready because you're probably going to make some new friends that you didn't know you need. But you will definitely keep in touch after the race. So the expo, however, carries with it some negatives. It is high energy. It's really, really exciting, but it is super tiring. If you are there when the gates open at 10 o'clock, you're probably going to get there at 9 to get into line. And it's probably going to take you between 30 and 45 minutes to get your bib, depending on where in that initial push you are. That line does get really long, but it actually moves super, super fast. And then you're going to go over and you're going to get your shirt in the next building. And that might take you another half hour or so. If you get caught up, and it's a big atmosphere. It's an energizing atmosphere, and there's going to be a lot of vendors. We know Advent Health will be there because they're always there. And we know that the Run company will be there with their booth, and we know that there will be food and plenty of it. And there will be a whole lot of other booths as well. And, a lot of times we just kind of want to wander through, but you know what? There's another 90 minutes gone. And by the time you know it, it's noon or 1 p.m. So you don't think of that. And then, if you go over and get the official Run Disney Marathon Weekend merchandise, well, unless you're in Club Run Disney, you're going to be doing the call ahead option in the app to get your place in line, and they'll tell you when to show up. So that said, you could be there all day. I would encourage you not to drink, although it's really easy because there's lots of options to get alcohol during this weekend, but it may not be the best option for your runs unless that's your thing, and it is for plenty of people. Okay. So during the weekend, during the expo, you're going to be standing a lot. You're going to be standing in line. You're going to be chit chatting, carrying bags. We actually last year decided that we're going to start renting a car or driving our own car. We're fortunate enough we live on the East Coast, uh, about an 18-hour drive for us, but we're going to bring our car this time. Sometimes we fly and we rent. Sometimes we fly and we Uber. And other times we just opt to drive. And this time we're going to drive. One of the advantages of having a car is if you've got bags, you can drop them and then go back and do other things. So we do that because we enjoy friends and we enjoy the atmosphere and talking to other people. That said, in case you haven't been paying attention, Run Disney dropped today their Brooks shoes for this weekend. And oh my God, I'm like drooling over like three of the five pairs that dropped. One of the five pairs I already owned, so not drooling over those, but the race weekend shoe with the castle on the back, that is going to be on my feed. Not in the race because I don't race in Brooks, but those are pretty cool. And the new Run Disney ones, those are also really stunning. I like them a lot better than last year's, which I didn't buy last year. And then the Chip and Dale one, and there's another one that I can't quite figure out, but I think it's the Mickey Mouse one. It is super easy to just spend an absolute ton of money at the expo. Here's what we do. We go in with an idea of what we want. There will be shirts, there will be I Did It shirts, there will be spirit jerseys, bags, mugs, keychains, ears, you name it. There's going to be some of it. And now that they're carrying the shoes, that's easily, if you're buying two pairs of shoes, easily another $300+ to spend. So go in with an idea of what you're going to get. Are you going to get a I Did It shirt? Are you going to get the pins? Maybe you want the tumbler or you want the little purse or whatever. Like figure out beforehand kind of what you're looking for, because before you know it, you're walking out of there with a shopping cart of one of each, and that gets really, really expensive really fast. Dress comfortably. A couple of reasons is when you go and pick up your shirts, you're going to want to try them on. Unless you've done this a million times, you're going to want to try them on. Last year, Disney, actually, is I guess the beginning of the 2025 season, Disney changed suppliers for the shirts. They're now Brooks shirts, which is great. They're a little bit more robust than the old ones were, but they fit differently. They run a tiny bit smaller, so you might want to try them on and make sure they fit you the way you like them to fit. So dress kind of loosely, comfortably, something that you can throw another shirt on over or take your shirt off and throw the new one on, whatever. And then have a budget. I mean, that goes with all of Disney, right? Just have a budget, stick with it, know what you're going to get. And, that's about all there is to it. It's super exciting. Now, busing. This will be your first experience with the Run Disney busing. The Run Disney busing is a bit different from the Disney busing. Disney busing, it has the cute little buses. They're like city buses that take you to the parks. The Run Disney buses are coaches. They're more like a Greyhound bus that will only take you to the Run Disney events. They run pretty continuously through the day. They don't necessarily pick you up at the same places that the regular buses do. So pay attention in the resort for the signs directing you to the bus stop. And just be aware that if you're asking the cast members where the bus stop is, they might not always know. So don't get too upset if they're not quite sure. But generally, it's going to be either out front of the main lobby or where the buses usually pick people up. If you're at resorts like Caribbean Beach, which has several bus stops, just know that the main building is usually where the buses are going to go. Sometimes they make the full leap, sometimes they don't. Really depends on the resort. But take a look in the Expo guide that will have more information on the transportation. This year, we're staying at Animal Kingdom, uh, which is a bit new to us on race weekend. And the buses there, I think, only stop at Animal Kingdom Lodge and Kidani. but we may actually end up Ubering to the 5K and then taking the buses to the other races. All right. Just remember, hydrate, like bring a bottle of water, grab a bottle while you're there. It's a long day. It's probably going to be hot. And it is a little bit stressful because there is a lot of people around. So just keep that in mind when you get back to the room. Go about, enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget that the race weekend has now officially begun, and your next race is going to be less than 24 hours from that point. Our plan is probably to go back to the hotel, drop our stuff off, and then drive over to Animal Kingdom, I think, mostly just because the proximity to our resort. We usually stay at a Skyliner resorts, which is nice because on some of these days where, the day is unpredictable, just hop on the Skyliner and go to whichever park it's connected to or that you feel like going to on that day. We will be back at the room by 8 o'clock that night so we can grab dinner, chill out, and get to bed. Get to bed knowing that we are going to have a 1:45 a.m. wake up call the next day. All right. So tomorrow we are going to start talking about the actual races. I have done these races many times, and I've done a few podcasts, a few extended length podcasts with some other folks who've done these races. So you might want to check them out. But tomorrow we are going to talk about the 5K and a couple different ways you can think about it. A couple different ways you can think about it so that you can ensure success on the rest of the weekend. All right. For that, we're going to, and with that, be fierce, be you, and I'll see you tomorrow.